Episode 4, Ricky's Army Buddy Visit.
Saturday evening at Frank's place started the way most evenings did. Garage door rolled up. Cooler sweating on the floor, and Alan Jackson humming out of the old radio. Hudson sat perched on the step, phone in hand, already narrating. Welcome back to Frank's place, Episode 4. Dad's got a beer, Uncle Ricky's got no shirt, and Papa's sanding wood that doesn't look like anything yet. Harry glanced up from the bench, sanding block in hand, hat low over his balding head. It's a birdhouse, boy. Don't need to look like anything until it's done. Looks like firewood, Frank quipped, taking a sip from his can. Before Harry could reply, Ricky's phone buzzed on the workbench. He snatched it up, eyes scanning, and then broke into a wide grin. Boys, guess who's in town? Frank raised an eyebrow. The beer delivery truck. Better, Ricky said, holding the phone up like it was proof of a miracle. Carter, my old army buddy, says he's 20 minutes out. Hudson perked up, guest star. The best kind, Ricky said proudly. We did basic together, deployments together, and plenty of trouble in between. Frank leaned back in his chair. The same Carter that got you written up for sneaking beer onto base. The very same, Ricky said. Man's a legend. Harry smirked. Sounds like a fool among fools. He'll fit. Diane wandered in right on cue. Cigarette in one hand and disapproval in the other. What's this nonsense now? An old brother-in-arms is stopping by, Ricky said. My war buddy, my comrade, my drinking partner for life. Diane narrowed her eyes. Another drunk in my house. Just what I needed. Frank grinned. Don't worry, Mom. He'll just be passing through. Mamaw, Ricky added with a wink, purely to irritate her. Diane pointed the cigarette at him. You watch that smart mouth, Ricky, he just laughed. Hudson whispered into his camera, this is gonna be chaos. 20 minutes later, a pickup truck rolled up out front and a booming voice echoed down the driveway. Ricky, Carter. Ricky bellowed back. The two collided in a bear hug so strong Hudson swore the garage shook. Tools rattled on the pegboard. Larson barked in alarm, then wagged his tail like Carter was a long-lost cousin. Frank stood and offered a hand. Frank McLeffrish, welcome to the madhouse. Beer or whiskey? Both, Carter said without hesitation. Frank's grin widened. He'll fit in just fine. Harry didn't even look up from the bench. Another mouth, same cooler. Lord help us. But within minutes, Carter was part of the circle, sitting on an upturned bucket with a cold can in one hand and a story on his lips. He and Ricky swapped tales that had Frank doubled over laughing. And then the sergeant's standing there, mud all over his boots, yelling who wrecked the Humvee. And Ricky's there, covered head to toe in mud, saying, what Humvee? Carter slapped his knee. Ricky howled. Man, I still got mud in my ears from that. Frank nearly spit his beer. Hell, that's better than half the stories from the bar. Hudson's camera panned. History lesson, Barton County style. Diane shuffled back in, already annoyed by the volume. You boys are gonna get the neighbors calling the cops. Don't worry, Mom, Frank said. They're trained professionals. Right on cue, Ricky and Carter launched into a painfully off-key version of Friends in Low Places. Diane groaned, flicking ash into a flower pot. Lord, give me patience. Harry raised his mason jar calm as ever. He ain't listening, Diane. The evening rolled on with more chaos. Doug showed up, shaking his head at the noise. Marty wandered in with his guitar, strummed a little harmony until Diane yelled at him. Cheryl Ann apologized to everyone, even though she hadn't done a thing. It became a full-blown neighborhood gathering. Hudson whispered to his phone. Episode 4. Army Buddy Arc. Energy, pure mayhem. By the time the cooler was nearly empty, the stories had turned into challenges. Ricky and Carter arm wrestled on the workbench, slamming their elbows down so hard Harry had to rescue his birdhouse. Not on my project, he barked, swiping it away. Sorry, Papa, Hudson laughed, zooming in. Then came the push-up contest, which ended in laughter when Larson sat on Carter's back, mid. Finally, Frank did what Frank always did. When the whiskey ran low, he pulled out the FF Tunes binder, thumbed through, and hit play on Brooks and Dunn's Boot Scoot Boogie. The garage transformed. Frank stomped out a two-step whiskey bottle like a microphone. Ricky and Carter jumped in, shirtless, sweaty, shouting the lyrics like they were back in a barracks. Marty strummed along, Harry whistled harmony, and Larson barked in rhythm. Diane appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. This is insanity. Frank spun, pointing at her mid-dance. Better a fool in the garage than a nag on the porch, Mamaw. The place erupted in laughter. Even Diane's lips twitched, though she shook her head. Harry finally cut in with his trademark .com. If a frog had wings, It wouldn't bump his ass, but it'd still drink less than you three. Ricky and Carter fell over each other laughing. Ricky and Carter stumbled through the chorus. Carter grabbed a wrench off Harry's bench and pretended to shift gears, revving like he was driving a race car. Ricky whooped, stripped off his shirt completely, and waved it like a checkered flag. Frank's laugh caught in his throat. The sound of the rev, the motion of that gear shift, it pulled at something buried deep. He remembered the late nights glued to races on TV, the smell of grease at dirt tracks, the way he used to imagine hearing his own name called over the loudspeaker. For just a flicker, his grin faltered and the whiskey warmth in his chest burned sharp instead of sweet. Hudson caught the look through his camera lens, but said nothing. Frank swallowed it down, forced the grin back, and clapped Carter on the shoulder. "Shift any faster and you'll burn the clutch, rookie." The garage howled with laughter again. Ricky fell against the cooler, Carter doubled over, Harry whistled. And even Diane couldn't hide the corner of her mouth twitching. Larson barked once, then flopped over like he was worn out from all the noise. Hudson panned across the scene, whispering his sign-off. One buddy, one wild night. One dream that still lingered in the noise. This was life at Frank's place.